All right, Patrick. Game 2, Wolves Golden State. I've come to this conclusion. If you are tuning in for aesthetically pleasing basketball, you need to tune out immediately. I don't think this series is going to have any games that are
James,
considered like
I
good
think
basketball.
I think we learned that last night. Yes, that was there've been two awful games. The other one was awful and competitive, but we also learned that if Steph is not going to play, the Wolves cannot lose this series, no matter how hard they try. No, even if they can continue to average 12 missed lay. I don't care about the threes. How about the missed layups? That's
Yeah.
what I want. Let's start making our layups. How about that? You know what we don't have anymore? The layup line before the game in the NBA. We don't have that, right?
No,
Never seen.
hell
I
no.
think we ought to go back to the layup line for the NBA, don't you think? You
You know
know?
what? You just hit on a great point because we should go back to the layup line for basketball and
Hmm.
infield it before a baseball
Yes,
game.
that's yeah,
Instead of
the twist.
87 first
I
pitches,
don't
let's
I don't
do.
care if no other team wants to take infield. These clowns better start taking infield because they're, you know, the one thing about Correa, okay, he can't hit and but he'll catch the ball and throw it to first base and make a play. He's competent. The everybody else they're putting out there is in trouble. And until Brooks Lee hit that double to win the game yesterday, that was a perfect imitation of Eddie Julian, wasn't it? Three strikeouts and a boot. It was. Anyway, let's go back to the Wolves.
Yeah.
I don't know if Divincenzo making some shots and Nicole Alexander Walker making some shots might be, it was nice to see, but I don't know if it works in a close game. I don't know if that's, yeah, because I thought for Nah was terrible and in game one and then played good last night. But I thought DiVincenzo still didn't play good until the third quarter or so, halfway through the third quarter. And if they where would we be without Julius Randle on this team? He's the superstar of this club.
It's incredible. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Like you said, you're right. I was trying to think of who else has changed the narrative of their
Yes.
person in their first year here more than Julius has.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, my memory isn't what it used to be, but I'd really have to think about that. We've had a lot of guys change the narrative from going from up to down, but you know, the other way around, it's like, now it's going to be they got to sign Julius.
Yeah. Whoa. I think we lost Patrick. Oh, you know what he is? Just wait. He's getting a phone call.
Am I back? Am
You're
I
you're
back?
back. Nice recovery.
Okay, good. That's Reavers calling me,
Of course it
and
is.
not
Of course it's yours.
it's probably the mayor wants to get out early today to play a little golf,
Uh huh.
perhaps. That could be part of it. But anyway, yeah, it was. I missed the game. I didn't feel well. I went home, and I didn't miss much. The crowd was, as the guys on TV pointed out, the crowd was even in the second quarter when they were, putting them away. It was really quiet, didn't you think? I mean, it was not to compare those to the
Yeah.
compare that crowd with the Laker victories was nothing. I don't know. I think they were still depressed and of about the game on Tuesday, but also the quality of the play was just not exciting.
I think
So
that's the thing. It's just not good. It's not good basketball. Like
not
it's
right now,
no,
that's for
no,
sure.
and don't you think, Pat, that Golden State? I think Golden State until Steph comes back, which might very well might not happen. I think they're going to
You
try to
muck
play
it,
to
muck
muck
it
it
up.
up. Yep.
Muck it up. And I was thinking that how phenomenal this is. Back when when they won in 16 and 18 and Steph was hurt, well, Kerr said it. He said, we had an all time great NBA roster then, and Clay and Durant and Clay at the peak of his skills and Durant and the other guys. But to see the Warriors trying to win by tackling people and running into people and playing ugly as hell is really phenomenal because that's not the way you think of the Golden State Warriors. That's for sure. But I suppose that Wolves could go out there and figure out a way to lose one. But if Steph does, you don't want to lose one out there because you don't want it to be 3-2 and you're going back to San Francisco and then Steph's going to play. Then all of a sudden you got to worry. But I don't know if Steph's going to play. Do you?
No. I think they are saying Game 6 because there's the 3-day break between Game 5 and 6.
Right.
But he's an old guy with a hamstring for the first time. He's never had one before too, so he has no reference here.
Yeah. It's it's tough. I mean, hell, baseball players who don't have to run around as much as they do end up DL. You pop a hammy, you're on the DL automatically. So I mean, it's much more familiar to us in baseball than it is in basketball too. But
yeah, you're right.
They're
baseball and football.
Yeah, football. I guess there's some hammies. But
Jefferson had one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He did. Yeah. Anyway, it was not much of a game, but at least they won, and now it's 1-1. When it got down to you were in there, right?
Yeah.
How did it sound when it got down to 7?
People were grabbing their seats. But then they went on like an 18-5 run.
Yeah,
so
right. It happened kind of quickly.
It ended quickly.
Because you got down to 7. But I mean, there would be bad losses, and then there would have been that one if that run had continued. And they couldn't stop that Kuminga. He was phenomenal there for about 8 minutes. But what is Curry up to just playing 12 or 13 guys?
Kerr?
Yeah, I mean Kerr. Yeah.
Well, he's supposed. So his post game comment was, if the game started to get away, which it did last night, I was going to rest my main guys as much as possible. He basically said we were happy to get a win here.
They were killing him on the TNT, the Charles and the boys after the killing. Well, they were wondering about Ant, but they were killing Golden State. They said they don't have anybody can dribble. Said nobody. They said they just run around in circles. They don't have anybody can dribble. But his best was for Ant's histrionics. They showed Ant looking like he was going to have his leg amputated, and then he was back a few minutes later. And they were laughing, and Charles says, he said, that's like Paul Pierce. When he brings up Paul Pierce was when Paul Pierce had to get the wheelchair out. He said the only thing missing was the wheelchair, he said last night. God, that, now they're going, right? That show's going with they're
going to ESPN.
They're going to ESPN. Okay.
Yeah, so that show is going to be. I think the show is going to stay in Atlanta and look the exact same, but it's being bought.
It's being bought by ESPN, which is going to share basically national telecast with the the Amazon and people like that, right?
NBC, Peacock, yes.
Yeah, is that the other big bidder, NBC, Peacock?
Yes. Yep. Okay. So ABC/ESPN, NBC, and Peacock will stream games, and then Amazon will be in exclusive streaming.
Okay, and that's I mean I've said this before. It's not a novel concept, but there's never been a show do anything for a league like that did for basketball, for the NBA. It made it fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're still great.
Yeah, because I mean, you watch any hockey pregame shows or post-game shows, they never have any fun. They're once in a while.
TNT tries now, and they do a better job. TNT, as far as I'm concerned, sports-wise, does the best studio shows.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So who do they? I guess I haven't seen this. Who do they have on it?
Well, their star is that guy who was a terrible player, Paul Bissonnette.
Oh, yeah.
He was a fringe player, not good, but he is. He's on podcasts, so the younger folks know him, and he is funny.
Dan Orlovsky of hockey, huh?
He's sort of a cross between Orlovsky and Barkley because he is very outspoken.
No, but I mean, he's the obscure guy.
Oh,
that
yeah,
all of
yeah,
a
yeah,
sudden
yeah.
is
He's the
on
third.
TV. What the hell is this guy doing on TV? He's the only thing we remember for him was running out of the end zone. That's the only play he ever made in his life, and he's on TV. I don't quite get that.
Yes.
So, hey, the Giants are in town. That's always fun. They're good. They're playing great. I wonder. I don't know if anybody. The weekend's going to be fantastic, right? 80 and sunny all weekend. See if anybody shows up. I guess.
How was the crowd on
They
Thursday
said
afternoon?
17. I got there about 11:20 in the main ramp, and there was nobody driving in, and there was nobody lined up. And I thought, man, they're going to have 8,000 people here today. There were more, but they weren't coming from. It might have been a crowd that doesn't like to pay $20 to park.
It's 25 in Ramp A now.
Was it? Is it? Am I paying 25?
You're paying
now?
25, and they're standing there now. They're standing there getting your money as you go in.
Yes, I didn't realize they upped it again. I heard these couple of rural guys. The old man was like grandpa maybe, and we rode down. I parked up top, and we rode down for 4 floors. All he did was, I'm not paying that much to park. It used to be $12. He's never coming back to a Twins game.
He's
I don't
right.
know. Is that one? Are they all 25 then? The other being
Is Ramp
B and A?
BH?
I think that's
B and C.
that's Rampy might be $30.
Really?
Like
Oh,
they
okay. Wow.
What are they doing? They're criminals. You're gonna make us.
But it's not the Twins. The Twins are
No,
screwed.
no, it's the city of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
It's not the Twins have got to be going crazy with this. Well, you see the number of people that are parked in there now. If you get there early on a Wednesday or something, the top 3 floors are empty, so they're not making the money they were before COVID. That's for sure. But God Almighty, I didn't realize they upped it again. They don't even put it on the sign anymore. They just gouge you after you get in there. Then, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's not on the sign. There is a sign that I saw, but yeah. So and now they stand there and get your money beforehand, which is a new thing. But if it's 25 now, that sucker's going to be 30 in no time at all.
Oh God, yes.
I got to find a new place to park.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. I think the bride might have to start driving the 4 miles downtown, dropping me off, and it'd be cheaper to catch an Uber home, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm
Damn
thinking
near.
I'm thinking of hitting like the light rail over here, like in Fridley where I live. Hop on that, pay the not like less than $5 fee, and go down and back.
That's what the hillbilly was saying. We should have went and gotten that light rail. He said someplace.
See, I don't have it. Like it's coming to the park here at some point in time, but it's not here yet. So I got no options.
No. But God, I didn't realize they'd upped it again. They are thieves, man. Unbelievable.
It was 15 before COVID.
Yeah, right. And it was 12 for a long time, wasn't it? That lot there, so. Well, anyway, Twinks. That was a real good game yesterday. It was, Ober just had to pitch his arse off to, keep, because there was twice they had runners in scoring position with nobody out, and 1 out, and he got 2 strikeouts. He didn't strike out that many, but he got both the second and third. He struck out the last 2 hitters, and I think maybe in the 5th too. And then Larney killed one, and then Brooks Lead made up for his tremendous blunder in the field and 3 previous strikeouts and hit it out. Boy, that Baltimore team's a mess, man. They're, they have like 11 guys, and 3 of their starters are on the DL, so.
Yeah.
That pitching was one of their strengths last year, and now it's not. But they're not.
But their kids are.
They're not hitting.
The kids are struggling. That's what gets me.
Yeah, right. Gunnar Henderson he was hurt for a while, but he looked like one of the best players in the game. But man alive, you look at baseball stats now. There's a lot of guys hitting 220, man. It's the problem they can't. I was talking to. When they brought in that Soto yesterday, I was sitting next to Bobby Nightingale. I said, the best thing baseball's ever done is the 3 pitcher rule. You got to face 3 batters. And he said, well, the speed of the pitch clock's better. And I said, yes. But they still haven't they still can't solve the main problem, putting the ball in, getting the ball back in play, getting these people to swing the bats, is just, that's baseball's problem. The ball isn't in play. So, and
Yeah. But the problem is
there's
they
nothing
can't.
they can do. They can't
Right.
do anything.
Right.
You're not,
Because the shift being gone does help now. Because if you do put the
yes.
ball in play, you actually don't have to be intent on it being a home run or a fly out.
Yeah,
So
right.
I do like that. But yeah, you're right. There's not a thing there. That's the one thing you can't solve. There's no rule you can change to fix that.
And I always say it's a lot better for a pitcher to get better than a hitter. A pitcher can work on, okay, I can add this, I can add
Right.
this. A hitter can either do this or he can't.
Why have we also
you either got the hands or you don't.
Why have we tightened the strike zone? They're talking about that now. So like the
which
strikes.
would just, they think that that'll help, I guess, but it doesn't. All it does is produce more strikeouts. It's not really.
Didn't
it's
that
not,
shift this year? Like it
Yes.
moved down, right?
They moved the strike zone down, and so like those borderline high pitches now are all balls. Which I mean, I want the strike zone bigger.
Yeah, to
'Cause I
make
feel
them
like that
swing.
forces you to swing.
To
Yeah.
make them swing. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what the solution is, but I think the solution is get rid of the box. Don't have a thing, and just let the umpires call strikes like they used to. And you get a guy in there who says, "I want these guys to hit today," and he doesn't call any strikes. And then the next day you got Eric Gregg with Levon Hernandez pitching, and the ball's 12 inches off the plate, and it's a strike. So I think it's, I don't think we've accomplished
Right.
anything with the computer.
Right.
But we're going to get the worst of all solutions next year, the challenge, and then you can keep challenging. I can say, okay, 3 challenges, and then if you're right, you can get 2 more, right? But you can't you got to get 3 wrong ones. These jackasses can keep asking for reviews all afternoon. It takes, but the fans like so then that's all baseball cares about.
The one thing that they need to fix is if they're going to do it, it can be the hitter or catcher. I do not want pitchers challenging. Pitchers challenging, they don't see where the pitch ends up, and they're far too emotionally attached to the pitch.
Yes, that's probably true. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Hey, let me give a little. I rip Christian Vasquez all the time for good reason. He made a hell of a tag last night on that Buxton, yesterday afternoon on that Buxton throw. That was a great tag. Jerry Holt had a great photo of that. Jerry Holt in today's Star Tribune had the old time baseball photo with the guy sliding in and the tag going on him. And that was an unbelievable throw by Buxton.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm sitting there, and I don't know if I said it audibly or just thought it. I said, what is he throwing home for? He's going to put the runner at second base in scoring position. He's out.
Yep.
God, he's playing good, man. He's going to strike out 30% of the time. But beyond that, he's hitting 270, hitting with some power, stealing bases, and he's great in center field. How can a surgery where you take a flap of skin off an irreparable knee turn you back into the best player you've ever been? I don't know.
I don't know, but I feel, you know what? It's a great story, and I'm legitimately happy for the guy.
I am too.
Because of what he's been through.
I don't think he was a guy who looked for injuries. No. I just think they happened. I think he had a bad skeleton, and now if he gets hurt again and sprains an ankle and misses a week,
Do you know what this is too, though, Pat? This is reason I think not to treat a guy like a China doll. I love this. Just let him play, and if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. Like with Reusse, we're going to ease Reusse along now. We're going to DH him. Put him back at third.
And the other thing is, I think a lot of this is him saying, play me.
Yeah.
Let's just go with it here. And, and I think Rocco would have been willing to do that, but he had all the people up there saying, oh, no, But I went to St. Paul when they had him play center field there, like this great experiment. Could he go back and play center field? And he played 5 innings and caught 1 ball, and just because Buxton knows if he's a healthy center fielder, he's an all-star. And so put him in center field because he's not a DH. So,
Right.
it's been a great surprise this year, though. He should be on the all-star team. They probably take a Twins pitcher, but he should be on the all-star team the way he's playing.
Yeah. And you're right. That throw was phenomenal. And he still makes plays. I mean, he still makes plays that no one else makes.
Yes.
And they look routine.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I've never really felt much about his arm. Did you? But then again, he was a phenomenal high school pitcher. You know, like
Right.
he could have been a Hunter Green because he threw hard and got all kinds of strikes. So he does have the arm. Gifted athlete. You know what I see him though? I had this thought. The Giants are coming to town. The Giants of my youth. Willie Mays and Willie McCovey and all these black guys, all these great black athletes, and Buxton. You see Buxton, and boy, that baseball not having the American, the African American. I'm not talking. They got the Latin Americans
Right.
that have bailed their ass out by becoming a supply of players.
Right.
But if they still had 15, 18% of the great African American athletes, think of the talent you'd have in this league. Unbelievable. You know,
Well,
it's got like 8% of the players now.
It gets back to the problem though, which is kids watch football. Like if you watch football, basketball, and baseball now, which one are you going to play?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, they're smart enough to have somebody tell them, listen, if you're 19, you can be in the NBA. If you're 19 in baseball, you can be playing in the Gulf Coast League and need to get better 4 times. That's the thing about baseball. I always say you have to get better 4 times at least to make it to the major leagues. You sign at 19, 18 or 19, you got to get better. And then you got to get better than that and better than that and better than that. And then you get up here and the pitching's unhittable.
And you struggle. Yeah. No, you're exactly right.
Yeah. So anyway, but it is those guys were so damn good. And you look at the Giants back in the day, man. You throw in Cepeda and some of the other guys, incredible. So.
Well, and as you said, the '65 All-Star game at the Met.
Oh yeah, greatest collection of talent ever. Although when I said that to Willie, he said, "Really, no different than the rest of the teams we had back then." He said, that time that Jerry Holt, I'll always give Jerry Holt a big kiss on the top of his head because we went out to do the Willie story in 14, and I took along the fella who could talk Dixie with him. Jerry Holt is the photographer, and we got Willie for 90 minutes. Unbelievable.
And Jerry is fearless. Jerry
not only fearless, but everybody likes him.
That's what I'm saying. But like he'll ask to do things that I would never ask, and he'll do it, and people will capitulate and be like, "Oh yeah, of course you can." So he's great. He's great. That dude's a journalist.
That's probably my favorite interview ever because when I started to line it up, all the San Francisco guys, they were saying, if you get him for 15 minutes, you'll be lucky. Because he's kind of standoffish, and what's in it for me was Willie's deal,
right?
And he'll do the national TV, but the other thing I did, the woman who handles his interviews, I went back and got all the printouts from when he was with the Millers batting 471, and I emailed those to her. No, I didn't email. I mailed them to her.
Oh, nice.
So that they could say, yeah, he'll send us this stuff he writes, unlike everybody else who doesn't.
But says they will.
Yes, that's right. We all make big promises and then don't send it. So
Exactly right. All right, sir.
All right, we will see you. Going to see you at the Yard tonight. Anybody going to the Yard?
I think I might be going to the Yard because it's an Apple game, and again, Apple TV is the only thing I don't get. So I think I'll be.
Get to see the Giants. The Giants are hot. Hey, we were talking about Buddy Black the other day keeping his job. Yesterday they played 2 with the Tigers in Colorado. Got outscored 21-1. What the hell?
How about
long can this last?
how about Derek Shelton in Pittsburgh? Took the
Yes.
fall for that collection of mutts.
Yes, yeah. They had young pitching they thought was going to be good. Two of them aren't pitching. Skeens is overrated, and he gets fired. So anyway, that's the way it works. But if I got fired before Bud Black, I think I'd file some kind of a class action lawsuit or something.
I don't blame you. All right, Patrick. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Goodbye.
All right.